And Frank was not killed in a gas chamber, nor shot by a firing squad. Yet she was murdered all the same, slowly, deliberately, and systematically, by a Nazi regime that built an entire machine designed to erase people like her from the world. And Frank was born on June 12, 1929, in Frankfurt, Germany, into a Jewish family that believed in education, culture, and quiet dignity. Her father, Otto Frank, was a thoughtful, disciplined man who loved books and ideas. When Adolf Hitler rose to power in 1933, Germany rapidly became a country where Jews were stripped of rights, dignity, and safety. Recognizing the danger early, Otto moved his family to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, hoping to escape the growing hatred. For a short time, it worked, and grew up as a lively, intelligent girl who loved writing, cinema, and dreaming about becoming a famous author. She was curious, outspoken, and deeply emotional. Her diary, a red and white checkered notebook she received for her 13th birthday, soon became her closest friend. Everything changed in May 1940 when Nazi Germany invaded the Netherlands. Anti-Jewish laws followed quickly. Jewish children were forced out of public schools. Jewish businesses were confiscated. Jews were banned from parks, cinemas, and public transport. Then came the Yellow Star of David, sewn onto clothing as a mark of humiliation and danger. In July 1942, Anne's older sister Margot received a summons ordering her to report to a Nazi labor camp, a death sentence disguised as bureaucracy. That same day, the Frank family disappeared. They went into hiding. Behind Otto Frank's office building, concealed by a movable bookshelf, was a narrow space that would later be known as the secret annex. 8 people lived there in total. Otto, his wife Edith, and Margot, the Van Pels family, and a dentist named Fritz Pfeffer. The rooms were cramped, dark, and silent during working hours. They walked barefoot, whispered, and lived in constant fear that a single noise could mean discovery. Anne was 13 years old, for over 2 years, and wrote almost daily. Her diary became a witness to adolescence under terror. She wrote about hunger, fear, boredom, arguments, first love, and despair. She described air raids shaking the walls at night, the terror of footsteps below, and the knowledge that if they were found, there would be no mercy. Yet her writing was not only fearful, and believed fiercely in life. She questioned humanity, dreamed of freedom, and clung to hope even when logic offered none. Her words were astonishingly mature for someone so young, shaped by confinement and constant threat. "I still believe," she wrote, "in spite of everything, that people are truly good at heart." On August 4th, 1944, that hope collapsed. The secret annex was betrayed, most likely by an informant whose identity remains debated to this day. Nazi officers burst through the hidden door. After more than 2 years of survival, the Franks were arrested. Anne was 15. The family was sent to Westerbork transit camp, where Anne's head was shaved and she was forced into hard labor. Weeks later, they were deported to Auschwitz-Birkenau in a cattle car packed with over 1,000 prisoners, suffocating, starving, and stripped of humanity. Upon arrival, families were torn apart in seconds. Anne and Margot were separated from their father forever. Otto Frank survived the war, but he never saw his daughters again. At Auschwitz, and endured starvation, beatings, lice cold, and disease. Her mother Edith grew weaker and died there in January 1945. And, once full of life and laughter, became thin, exhausted, and ill. In October 1944, Anne and Margot were transferred again, this time to Bergen-Belsen, a camp designed not for labor, but for slow death. There were no gas chambers there. Instead, prisoners died from hunger, exposure, and disease. Bergen-Belsen was hell without efficiency. Food barely existed. Water was contaminated. Bodies lay unburied. Typhus spread unchecked. Anne and Margot were stripped of their clothes, covered in lice, and barely able to stand. Witnesses later recalled, and as unrecognizable, bald, skeletal, wrapped in a blanket, her spirit fading. Margot died first, likely in February 1945, collapsing from weakness and infection. And, already sick with typhus, followed her sister shortly afterward. She was 16 years old, just weeks before British forces liberated the camp. And Frank did not die because of fate. She did not die because of illness alone. She died because Nazis forced her into conditions where survival became impossible. Her death was a result of systematic persecution, calculated cruelty, and indifference to human life. Otto Frank was the only member of the secret Annex to survive. When he returned to Amsterdam, he was given Anne's diary, preserved by the helpers who had risked their lives to hide the family. Reading it, Otto discovered a daughter he had never fully known, a writer, a thinker, and a voice that would outlive her killers. And Frank's diary became one of the most important books in human history, translated into dozens of languages, read by millions around the world. The Nazis tried to silence her. Instead, they made her immortal. And Frank's story is not only about death. It is about what hatred destroys and what courage can preserve. Her life stands as evidence that even in the darkest places, a human voice can still speak and be heard long after the cruelty that tried to erase it has turned to dust.